Hello everyone, it's me Rosen. Continuing the session that we have been carried out since 2 days. Today also we'll be learning about the different topic on JMeter series. On this session, we'll start with building a JMS topic test plan. Session we'll be talking on we'll start with building a JMS. So let's get started line by line. Building the JMS topic test plan. JMS requests some additional jars to be downloaded. You need to download some additional jars for that. Before that, let's get into the what does JMS topic in test plan means. In this section, you learn how to create a test plan with test to test JMS providers. You will create 5 subscribers, alright, overall 60 messages. To construct a test plan, you will use the following: thread to JMS publishers, their subscribers, graph results, zero nodes on JMS. There are only 2 JMS samplers. One uses JMS topics, okay, and other uses the queues. Topic messages are commonly known as publisher or subscribers messaging. Topic messaging is generally used in cases where a message is published by a producer and consumed by the multiple subscribers. Topic messaging is generally used in cases where a message is published by a producer and consumed. Message produced by the producer and consumed by a subscriber. Queue messaging is okay. So under JMS topic, there comes 2 samplers. The first one is JMS topic, and the next one is queues. JMS queues. JMS topic has subscribers, publisher that publishes messages, and subscriber that consume the messages. Queue message is generally used for transactions where the sender expects a response. Messaging systems are quite different from normal HTTP requests. JMS sampler needs the JMS implementation jar files, for example, from Apache Active MQ. See, okay, there are things. So let's go to the JMS topic test plan. So let's get into these things. What does this means? Is generally plugging to connect the rest and integration trace to wide range of EI platforms. JMeter is okay. So we get the full form JMS. The full form JMS stands for Java Message Service. To send and receive messages between 2 or more clients, we have created a sampler. Alright. Java Messaging Service. Java Message Service. So simply JMS stands for Java Message Service. We should now see the thread group element on the test plan. We don't see the element. Okay. First of all, we need to add the thread group. Yep. Leaving the rest field same as it is. Start with providing a more descriptive name for our thread group. Define subscribers. Next, increase the number of users called thread to 5. And ramp up rate set to 0 so that every request is given instantly. This property tells JMeter how long to display between starting each users. For example, if you enter a ramp up period of 5 seconds, that is all about the relation of the number of threads and ramp up period. Clear the checkbox label forever. Enter the value 10 so that the overall operation runs 10 times in the loop count. This property tells JMeter how many times to repeat each test exactly. If you enter a loop count value to 0, then JMeter will run you. If you enter a loop count value of 0, then once to have JMeter ready. For the second thread group, enter the publisher. In the name field, see the number of the threads, set the duration to 0. In most applications, you have to manually set the changes to me. Okay, that was all about the JMeter panel default settings. Headings, JMS, Java message service subscribers and publishers. Make sure the required jar files are in JMeter's lib directory. If they are not, shut down JMeter, copy the jar files and restart. Okay, to initiate these things, JMS and test plan, we need to add one jar file over the lib directory of the JMeter file folder. Okay, we start by adding the sampler JMS subscriber to the subscriber element, add sample in JMS subscriber, then select the JMS subscriber element in the tree and edit the following properties. This is you change the name. If the JMS server uses the JN for check the for example, initial context fix, you need to set the default properties. Note: setup with startup mean that JMeter is starting to listen on the destination at beginning of test without name change possibility. Setup on each sample mean that JMeter restarting to listen before each JMS subscriber sample. This last option for me to have destination name with some JMeter variables. Number 7. If JMS provider requires authentication check, yeah, there's all of the default settings. There are two client implementations for subscribers. If JMS provider exhibits zombies threads with one client, try the other. There was a JMS subscriber default setting that you can set. For the publisher, to the publisher element, we can just add the add sampler. On the sampler, we can add JMS publisher and select the JMS publisher element in the tree and add the following properties. Change the field name to sample publisher. If the JMS provider uses the JND publisher, that was all the same default setting. That was all adding the listener and seeing for in order to graph results, in order to get the results. Okay, that was all about JMS test plan for publisher and subscriber end. So let's go through building a test plan programmatically. Classes and methods of building, so please feel free to provide your own feedback. In this section, you will learn how to create a test plan with JMeter APIs. Alright, the test plan is a collection of the elements arranged in a tree-like manner. However, in JMeter APIs, the elements do not form a tree. Parent, child. However, in JMeter APIs, the parents and relations are stored in a separate structure, listed hash trees. Okay. In JMeter APIs, let me write down in my notebook. In JMeter API, the elements are not listed in the tree. Parent-child relationship are stored in a parent-child relationship are stored in a separate structure, that is listed as tree. Creating a test plan with our low-level APIs. Let's create a test plan, thread group, debug sampler plan. Listed hash tree root equals to new listed hash tree. Test plan, a new test plan, listed hash tree, new test plan tree, and test plan tree. Test plan, thread group, and new thread group. Thread group is a set name. Okay, there we can build it in theoretically. Firstly, we create the tree at 1, listed hash tree root. In this one, we created a tree, right? With this tree script. In this script, listed hash tree is the unprogrammatically in API in JMeter APIs. The elements do not form the tree. Rather, the parent-child relationship are stored in the separate structure that is listed hash tree is mentioned here. That's why same goes here. Listed hash tree root equals to new listed hash tree test plan. Test plan equals to new test plan. On second code, listed hash tree test plan subtree root.add test plan. Under the listed hash tree, we edit the test plan. Under 3, we edit the thread group under the test plan. Generating code from UI. To aid with creating code, JMeter implements copy code context action, so you could generate code from any element in the plan. It would generate the code for the element and its children. So that under this script we can create a plan with Kotlin DSL. For this we can extend Kotlin DSL, creating a plan with Java DSL. Let's move to the next section. Okay, this is the most useful topic that we have been frequently using since the beginning, that is listeners. Introduction to listeners. A listener is a component that shows the result of the samples. The result can be shown in a tree, table, graphs, or simply written to a log file. To view the contents of a response from any given sampler, add either of the listeners view result tree or view results in table to a test plan. To view the response time graphically, add graph results. The listener section of the components page has full description of all the listeners. Different listeners display the response information in different ways. However, they all write the same raw data to the output file if one is specified. The configure button can be used to specify which fields to write to the file and whether to write it as CSV or XML. CSV files are much smaller than XML files, so use CSV if you are generating a lot of samples. The file name can be specified using either a relative or an absolute path name. Relative paths are resolved relative to the current working directory, which defaults to the bin/directory. JMeter also supports paths related to the directory containing the current test plan JMX file. If the path name begins with, then the path is assumed to be related to the JMX file location. If you only wish to record certain samples, if the samples is a child of the sampler, or you can use a sampler controller to group a set of samplers and add listener to that. Yep, the same file name can be used with multiple samples definitely. Default items to be saved can be defined in the internet properties or user properties file. The properties are used as the initial setting for the listener, and also found with log file specify the -l -l command line flag, commonly used for the CLI mode restaurant to change the default format. Find the following properties. The corresponding general properties that need to be set are shown below. One oddity in this example is that the output format is set to CSP, which typically indicates the comma separated values. So in this way, we can fill in the results. The date format to be used for the timestamp format is described in the simple date format. The timestamp format is used for both writing and reading files. If the format is set to ms and the column does not parse as a longer integer, JMeter 2.9 plus will try the following formats: year, month, date, hour, minute, second, month, be strict, not lenient. Sample variables. JMeter supports the sample variables property to define the list of the additional JMeter variables which are to be saved with each sample in the JTL files. So we'll be talking about the JTL files and standard JMeter test logs. The values are written to CSV files, the additional columns and additional attributes in XML files. Listener can be configured to set different items to result log files. Java text log by using config pop as shown below. The defaults are defined as described in the listener default configuration section above. Items with CSV to the name only apply to the CSV format. Items with XML only apply to the XML format. CSV format cannot currently be used to save any items that include line breaks. CLI mode batch test runs. When running in CLI mode, the -l flag can be used to create a top-level listener for the test run. Find the following. Corresponding general that need to be set as only one oddity in this example. When running CLM mode, the dash self flag can be used to create a top level listener for the test run. This is in addition to any listeners defined in the test plan. The configuration of this listener is controlled by the entries in the file JMeter property described in the previous section. This feature can be used to specify test run data and the log file for each test run. For example, top level listener for the test run. This file is recreated each time, so if you want to keep the log files for each run, you will need to rename it using the -j -j. They will support variables in the log file name. If the file name contains the pure single quotes, then the name is processed as the simple date format applied to the current date. For example, log file JMeter. This can be used to generate a unique name for each test run. Resource uses. Listener can use a lot of memory if there are a lot of samples. Most of the listeners currently keep a copy of every sample the display. Apart from simple data writer being set, mailer, visualizer, monitor, summary report, the following listeners no longer need to keep copies of every single sample. Instead, samples with the same elapsed time are aggregated. Less memory is now needed, especially if most samples only take a second or two at most. Aggregate report to aggregate graph to minimize the amount of memory needed. Use the simple data writer and use the CSV format. CSV log format. The CSV log format depends on which data items are selected in configuration. Only the specified data items are recorded in the file. The order of appearance of column is fixed and is as follows: timestamps in milliseconds since elapsed time in millisecond, label, pamphlet label, response code, response message, okay, thread name, data type, text, success true or false, error message, even bytes and bytes, group threads, all threads, URL, file name, if save response to file was used, latency, time to first response, connect, time to service connection, encoding, sample count, error count, host name, idle time, variable. The format of the operating action is bytes, send bytes, data encoding. These are the formats of the XML log format. Saving response data. So the response data can be saved in the XML log file if required. However, this can make the file rather large, and the text has to be encoded so that it is still valid XML. Also, images cannot be included. Only sample response with the type text can be saved. Another solution is to use the post processor save response to a file. This generates a new file for each sample and saves the file name with the sample. The file name can be included in the sample log output. The data will be retrieved from the file if necessary when the sample log is loaded. Loading reading response data. To view an existing result file, you can use the following. You use the file browse button to select the file if necessary just to create. JMeter is capable of saving any listener as a PNG file. So select the listener in the left panel and click edit. Save as node image. The file value will appear. Okay. Remote testing. In the event that Your JMeter client machine is unable performance-wise to simulate enough users to stress your server or is limited at network level. An option exists to control multiple remote JMeter engines from a single JMeter client by running JMeter remotely. In number of the remote JMeter instances. Saving of most of the samples of local machines, management of computer JMeter engines from single machines. The same test plan is run by all the servers. JMeter does not support distribute the load between servers. Each runs the full test plan. So if you set 1,000 set groups and have six JMeter servers, you end up injecting 6,000 threads. However, remote mode does use more resources than running the same number of CLI mode tests independently. If many server instances are used, the client JMeter can become overloaded and age can age can the client network connection. This has been improved by switching to the strict modes CPLO, but you should always check that your client is not overloaded, not that. While you can execute the JMeter engine on your application server, you need to be mindful of the fact that this will be adding processing overhead on the application servers, and thus your testing results will be somewhat tainted. The recommended approach is to have one or more machines on the same Ethernet segment as your application server that you configure to run the JMeter engine. This will minimize the impact of the network on the test results without impacting the performance of the application server. Same JMeter. Addition symbols in the Java system have a valid email address and SSL. To run the JMeter remote, notice that the JMeter server component all the machines used to run it. Running the JMeter home